Welcome to the Soul Prescription. I'm Alexa Pellerose and I'm here with Hannah Fleming. And yeah, I'm super excited that you're here with us. Would you like to, say anything to begin with?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I am a certified ascension coach, twin flame ascension coach with Twin Flames Universe, and I've been coaching Alexa for almost a year now. And I'm really happy to be here and just very proud of this podcast that you've created. And yeah, it's a really beautiful testament to all the healing you've done. And yeah, you're sharing some amazing insights with the world.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so glad that you're here on Soul Prescription. Like I wouldn't be having the Soul Prescription without you teaching me how to heal and teaching me that I am good enough to go after my dreams, with the mirror exercise, which is like, how do I even put it? Like the je ne sais quoi of it all, really. So, yeah, the mirror exercise is something that I've learned from you, because I was on my journey of learning what is it being to be like a spiritual being, and like my purpose and everything, and what is twin flames. And I found you and your twin flame Dylan, and you guys were teaching the mirror exercise, and you were like, this is the je ne sais quoi of like creating a heaven on earth. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I think that's what I'm missing. Like that's the part of the healing that I really want. And like there was something in my soul like already leading me that was like, hey, like this is something that you need to implement in your life and it's going to change you. And like you said, we've been doing it for a year and my life has just like completely transformed. And so, yeah, would you like to describe what is the mirror exercise and why it's so powerful?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the mirror exercise, it was introduced to me by Jeff and Shalia from the Teachings of Union, and it's a four-step tool that you use to heal your consciousness, and you really use to, yeah, like come into that energy of love within yourself. And it works because the reality, as a lot of people know, is our mirror, right? And so, it's based on just like the law of attraction, like The Secret, how we attract everything to us based off of our vibration. And so what this tool does, it allows you to tune your vibration to the energy of love. And when you do that, as you do that within yourself, what you do is you begin to attract, like you said, stepping into your purpose and your power, and you attract your twin flame, your true love into your life. And how it works, I can do like a four-step breakdown if that works with you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh,
Yes.
cool. Yeah, so step one is where you're going to project the whatever is upsetting you in your life. So you really want to use the mirror exercise when you are experiencing what we call like a trigger or an upset. And this is when, something happens like I don't know, you get cut off in traffic, or your mom is harassing you about something, or a lot of times your twin flame is like ignoring you, whatever it may be. A trigger is something that's going to affect how you feel, and it's going to take you out of your peace. So when you project that upset, let's say with the twin flame one, it would be, I'm upset with my twin flame for not communicating with me, right? That would be step one. And then step two is where you mirror it. So you flip it around to face yourself and you'd say, I'm upset with myself for not communicating with myself, right? And so step three is where you ask, is there any truth to this? And the key here is that the answer is always going to be yes, because like we talked about with the law of attraction, if you are attracting an experience into your life, somewhere within you, you're actually doing that to yourself, right? Whether it's a part of you from childhood that shut down communication with yourself, or from when you were a teenager, or whatever it is, you'll go within. And in step four, you'll connect with this part of yourself. So this part of you that's not been communicating with you, you'll ask them, what do they need to feel loved right now? And a lot of people, can maybe visualize that part of themselves, like they're crying in a corner, or they're very upset, or maybe you just feel like, oh my gosh, I feel these emotions of like not being able to communicate with me. And you ask that part of you, what do you need here? And maybe it'll say love or peace or compassion or communication, whatever it needs. You then give that to yourself, right? You can give it to you through visualizing white light coming over you, or just the emotion or feeling of love and connection and communication. And you give all that to yourself until that part of you feels fully peaceful. And once they feel peaceful, this is the final piece, is where you integrate it and you give that part of you a hug and bring them home and melt them back into you. And if you've done it properly, what was once triggering you, right? It's not going to be triggering you anymore. You're going to feel peace in that space. So It's a miracle worker. It's amazing. It was the last piece too for me to really click in to where I could hit the ground running with my healing and step into my dream life here.
I love that. Yeah, no, I love it as well. Like, but why do you think that people are so resistant to the law of attraction when we were taught, even in like eighth grade science, that there, or even sixth grade science, that solid, liquid, and gas are all vibrations and that everything is a vibration. But some people are still like not really connecting it to themselves being a vibration. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, it's the belief in the ego, right? It's like we all have these, ego selves, right? Or we don't really have them, but we think we do. And these ego selves are what protect us from like, quote unquote, protect us from getting hurt, right? And so when your ego it feels triggered, it's gonna want to defend and it's gonna want to project. It's going to want to project and point the finger and blame what's outside of itself instead of taking responsibility for um, how you feel, right? And so that's why I found, the mirror exercise to be so empowering because it actually empowers you to take control of your reality. And I feel like, a lot of people resist that because one, they're just not ready to take responsibility for their lives, right? Like it is easier to blame the world, right? To blame a rainy day for, your mood or to blame, this or that for what you've actually created in your life. But that just keeps you in this cycle of like, patterns, right? And of the same, like it's like Groundhog Day, the same thing happening every day, the same things coming up, right? And so I think a lot of people haven't yet reached a point where they're like, you know, ready to change, right? And like but at the same time a lot of people have, right? And I think that's whoever is meant to find this work, like find this tool, they always find it, right? And they like hit the ground running a lot of times like you did because they recognize that they can create their own reality, it's really about like realizing how powerful you are. And a lot of people don't quite know that about themselves yet. It has to do right same thing with like being divine, being a divine being. Like, oh my God, if I was a divine being, that means that I don't have to work at this dead-end job anymore. I can go out and live my life purpose and I can, leave this shitty relationship. I can be with my true love. But like, what if I'm not, right? It's that feeling of, oh, am I good enough to create the life of my dreams? That's kind of, what I feel is that yeah, is like why people are resistant to it.
Yeah, and I've had that upset a lot of like not feeling good enough, and I just attack it with the mirror exercise, and it's been absolutely wonderful. But like you said, like taking the ground running, when I had my spiritual awakening, I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been choosing this entire time to be depressed and like choosing for my thoughts to be me instead of being like the observer of my thoughts and like choosing which thoughts I wanted to have that day. Like now I know if I want to have a positive day, I just don't think a negative thing. And like that amplifies the energy and gratitude. And, the energy you give is the energy you live. And that's basically the, teachings of union, and the mirror exercise is like whatever you want to perceive, you just give it to yourself first, fill your own cup. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and so I've got a couple questions here. How can somebody tell when they need to use the mirror exercise?
Mhm. Yeah, like I kind of touched on this, but it's like whenever you're triggered, like um it's whenever something's upset you, like whenever something's disrupted your peace, because you should be feeling peaceful like 90% of the time, right? Like unless you're in upheaval, which we might get into today, which is when you're actually releasing thoughts, feelings, emotions that are out of alignment with like the healing that you've done, like you should be feeling pretty peaceful in your life. So like when something disrupts your peace, whether it be like your twin flame, your family, your work, whatever it is, that's when you want to use the mirror exercise. It's like whenever you're triggered, and a trigger is going to look like your chest tightens, you start to get sweaty, your body contracts, you feel like this visceral reaction to something that's happened, your stomach drops, right? Whatever these, bodily feelings are, that's your body telling you that it's triggered. It's like in fight or flight, and your nervous system actually needs to be reset. It needs to be brought back into peace. And that's when you can use the mirror exercise to do that for you.
Yeah, I love that. And so when everybody might just like skip ahead a little bit, when everybody focuses on their inner world and their triggers and everybody starts healing and loving themselves, that ultimately is going to lead to heaven on earth, right? And that's what a lot of TFU is about, is like heaven on earth. You're with the love of your life, which is you, God, and your twin flame, and like your life purpose and everything. So yeah, that sounds amazing, but why do you think some people are like super resistant or just even resistant to that teaching?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, have a different viewpoint on heaven. That's like the first thing. A lot of people think you have to leave Earth to go to heaven, right? And that's where you find your happily ever after. That's where you get rewarded for your life on Earth. So there's that kind of religious programming. And then at the other side of the coin, kind of the same reason people are resistant to the mirror exercise, people don't believe it, like heaven on earth, that sounds like, the North Pole and elves to like a lot of people, like Santa Claus, spoiler alert. And yeah, like it's that's really what it sounds like. And so but those that are, those that have recognized it within themselves, that have touched it within themselves, like you and myself, like we know that that's actually a real vibration that we can bring here now. We can bring that to earth now. And I think that any resistance that people are experiencing is going to naturally melt away the more people come into harmony with their twin flames, come into harmony with their life purpose, and actually start creating that. Because it's kind of like that 100th monkey effect. You may have heard that before. Like once 100 monkeys are doing it, all the monkeys are doing it. And yeah, it's like yeah, it's really like with so much going on in the world today, like all the fear, all the upsets that people are experiencing across the globe. I understand and have compassion for people that may think it's like a pipe dream, right? To really live a fairy tale or a heavenly life. But it's not, it is for everybody. And that's like why we're on earth. That's the game. You beat the game by coming into your heaven. And like there is a way to do that. And it's a really beautiful way that you can actually do like alongside your twin flame.
Yeah, I love that. And I actually come from Baptist religion, of like being in the Baptist church. And so like I was in Sunday school, Wednesday church, summer camps. And so like I read most of it. And now that I have these teachings and I go back and read it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's actually what Jesus was teaching. I think there's like an actual verse, Luke 7:21, that the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Yeah.
And so like when I read that with this new awareness, I was like, oh my goodness, like that's so true and so right. It's kind of just like playing telephone. And like it just kind of got a little jambled along the way of people, teaching it to others.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. And I think it really just comes down to like love being logic. And like when you come from a love is logic standpoint, like, oh, of course I would have my heaven on earth because I'm a loved being. Like you said, we're a divine being. Like, oh, of course that I would, have my happily ever after here and now because my creator loves me so much.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's so beautiful. I love you that you shared that. Like, because I was raised Catholic and so similar to you, I was taught all of these things, but then I was like, wait, but why is no one living it? Like I'm confused here. It was kind of like this, it's outside of your self-teaching and then you go and live your life. But now that I found this work as well, yeah, I've realized that's exactly what Jesus was teaching and all of the masters, right? There's also that Bible verse, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and then all good things come unto you, right? And that's really what this work teaches, is to seek the kingdom of heaven within you first. And then your twin flame comes into your life, then your life purpose comes, then your abundance, then everything comes into your life. And so yeah, like the teaching's been there. That's what's so cool about this work, is it's not like, oh, this new thing. It's just it's just adapted for, the next level of our consciousness as a society, or as humanity, to where I feel like we finally are ready to like be with our twin flames, like we're finally ready for that true love experience that really wasn't I wouldn't say possible back then, but it wasn't the priority, right? It was
Mhm.
survival was the priority for humans for a really long time. And now that we've kind of handled survival and like modern medicine and all these things, we can focus on those other things like love.
Yeah, I love that you said that. That literally resonates with something I watched yesterday, and it was talking about how like we're kind of almost like the first generation to really like claim our abundance and
Mhm.
like thrive, which I'm like so I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to be a part of this and not like in the survival mode and like being able to claim my abundance and claim to, thrive that the past generations really did build like a foundation for us to, go off of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. And now we're here and like we can have it all, right? And that's what this work teaches.
Yeah, I love that. And so I would just want to ask some things about femininity because usually, and correct me if I'm wrong, usually the feminine aspect of the twin flames is like the spiritual leader in this. I might be wrong, but or whoever is like led to the teachings of union is the spiritual leader. That it really only takes one of the twin flames to do the spiritual work because they're one at the core.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really depends, I feel like, for every union, like which one is leading spiritually, because it's like it's not the masculine or the feminine that leads, it's God, and it's God through you. And so if you like, for you, for example, you found this work, right? You're leading spiritually for your union right now. And maybe that's, how you guys are designed, or maybe not. Maybe like you come together and then you lead together and God leads through you both in different ways, right? It's really cool because every union is so unique. You can't really like put it one way or another. But I think it is a trend that a lot of feminines do lead first, because feminines do have we're more naturally inclined to work on relationships, to work on our emotions, compared to men who are kind of just like scratching the surface of that in a lot of ways. But women have been working on that for a lot longer. And so I think that's why it seems to be a trend right now, but it's definitely not something that's like, you know, set in stone, like has to be that way, right? Because there's several people that I know doing this work where the masculine is leading, and he is the one doing the mirror exercise and working on the life purpose, and the feminine's kind of still figuring things out. So it does depend. But what was the second part of your question? Because it was good, but I lost it.
Of the feminine leading coming into union. I think you answered it perfectly.
Cool.
Yeah. But also, and I think that kind of goes back with the survival thing that men were, a lot of the hunters and like the protectors and were more based on like survival than the woman. And how like we're coming out of that. I think trends will definitely change as well because like we're the first generation to really claim our abundance and like you said, get out of survival mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, I really look forward to, the next 5, 10, 20 years, because I think we're going to see the biggest shift that we've ever seen, really, as a planet, into a much more heavenly and peaceful place, because it's, if you think of it like how quickly we've gone from like flip phones to smartphones to AI. I see that same trend and thing happening with spirituality and with healing, and really with bringing heaven to earth. And so, yeah, like it's going to be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people say like 2030 is like another world is going to end,
Mm,
but it just might be like a spiritual thing
yeah.
that old ways of living are going to end and a new way will come about, where people go within. And yeah, I love that. And so, how long have you been doing linear exercise?
Yeah, so it'll be 3 years this May. Yeah, I think I found this work. It might be May 12th, 2022. For some reason, that date comes to mind. So it's been almost 3 years.
Wow, I love that. 222 right there.
Yeah.
And so how long did it take you to like get into union, or like what were your steps personally for you in your union?
hmm Yeah, so I found this work. I started coaching with an ascension coach, doing the mirror exercise, and then studying Twin Flame Ascension School Life Purpose class and all of the teaching. And then it was about 2 months later that Dylan, my twin flame, and I we like reconnected and began, to date and come together. And yeah, like for us, we had both gone on like pretty intense spiritual journeys prior to finding this work. So like it's not like we found this work and it was the, start of our awakening, but it was like kind of the final missing piece that like brought it everything that we had done together. So that's why I feel like for us it was really natural and easy. Once I found the work, it was like 2 months later we were in union and we were off. And we also grew up together, went to the same high school and college, and our families knew each other. So we had that like we already had like that family and friendship foundation like solid for us. So we didn't necessarily have to like start from scratch with our union, which is really cool. I think we obviously manifested that for a reason, and like that's where we were vibrationally. So that's why it was like pretty easy for us. But I feel like also like our union is meant to show that like it doesn't have to be so challenging. And I know I've shared this with you before, like it can be easy even with your challenges, right? Like I went through every challenge in the book on my way to this work in the school and everything and to union. But yeah, like I made it through. And like if I would have had this work, like 5 years ago, oh my God, my life would have been it would have been so much easier, right? So I had to clear a lot on my own to be able to even find this. But yeah, once I did, it was like, okay, cool, let's do this. Like I'm all in. This is my heaven on earth, and I'm going after it.
Right? It's like once you like come to that awareness, or like that you have like that awakening to that desire in your heart, it's like there, like what else would I be doing? Like
Yeah.
heaven on earth is destiny, and like what is a life to be lived without like pursuing your destiny? Because I know like when I had my best friend pass away, and like it really shook things up, and then 4 months after my sister passed away, so I was just like really thinking about like what is the meaning of life. Like that was a desire in my heart to find, and then God just did his thing and was like, oh, okay, well, heaven on earth is actually the meaning of life, and here you go. And yeah, and ever since then it's like, I mean, I live a sober life, I'm not depressed, I'm like thriving in every category of my life. And yeah, I could not be more thankful. I so many nights where I'm like, even like 2 nights ago, I was just like bawling my eyes out. I was like, I'm so thankful that it's like the mirror exercise, the work, the teachings of union is like your inner child doing CPR on your inner child and like coming alive again, and like actually living life how you're meant to. I feel like I can't even really remember that much about my life, besides it being like hell before the teachings of union and the mirror exercise. Like, I can't even, I'm like, how did I even live life? Like, I wasn't living, I was just, like you said, we're in survival mode. And like the mirror exercise takes you, to actually being alive, because I feel like we say in the teachings of union and everything that only love is real. And so it's like, oh, now I'm actually alive and this is real.
Oh, that's so profound. Yeah, that's so beautiful. That's a great way to put it. And I completely agree. It's like running on autopilot was like, before I started seeking God and like finding this work, it was this, exactly survival mode. Like the animalistic part of my brain was just like running the show. Um, and I think your story is so profound and powerful too, because you really healed like a big piece for the world, right, through that experience, of loss. And that like, yeah, loss is never meant to destroy. It's meant to yeah, I think break you open so that you can, right, like turn pain into purpose, right? We all have to do that in some way, shape, or form. And I think yeah, I think you're going to help so many people through that, right? There's a reason you went through that experience, and like yeah, it was for your own awakening in your own soul journey, but also too, like we are as healers, like we are meant to use what we've healed in our lives to help others heal that too, right? And I think that's exactly, where you're headed, what you're going to be doing.
For sure. Thank you. And like, there's so much that you've gone through that you've helped me,
Mhm.
heal through. Cause like there was like synchronicities are not the exact same, but just similar things. And you're like, I've been there and I've
Mhm.
got through it, and that what you tell me is like something I really hold on to. I'm like, okay, like there's light at the end of the tunnel. I can go past this pain. I can go within and I can heal it. And like, I think it's just like a lot of hope too, is like TFU gives a lot of hope. And I think it's so beautiful. And like people, they don't want that. Like when I first started doing it with you, the mirror exercise, I was so afraid of like the rug being ripped out from underneath me. I was like, is this real? Is this real? Because I don't want to have so much good and then it being pulled away. And you've taught me that we're never separate from our good because we're never separate from God, and
Right.
God is everything and God is good, and that's been like a huge blessing too for me.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had to move through that too, that feeling of the rug being ripped out and like trusting in really in God, right? That's what it's all about. And I think that also speaks to why a lot of people don't believe in like the possibilities of what, we share of heaven on earth and true love and healing, because if they even did open their mind to believing that, and if it wasn't true, there's that fear, oh, what if I open my, then I'm just going to get hurt, right? And so that's what we're healing for consciousness, like by moving through that feeling and realizing, oh, wait, like everything's good. I'm safe. Like this is real. Like I can relax into this path. I can relax into my relationship with God and myself and like love and like, yeah, like I'm not going to lose anything, right? Because that's what the world teaches you. The world teaches you that you can lose anything at any moment, right? That's why people that are rich, they're not always happy, right? And people who have it all, they're not always happy because they haven't healed the core emptiness within themselves. And so, yeah, like when you do that, you just come into peace, right? And I think that's where you're at now. Like you've come into a deep peace. Like you can relax into your purpose, into your path, into yeah, who you really are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had breakfast in bed and I was like, oh, like I just need to enjoy. I'm like enjoying my manifestations already. Like, because it's been a year and it's so potent, the mirror exercise. It's so fast. Like, I wouldn't be starting my doctoral program this week without doing the mirror exercise with you a year ago and saying like, oh, of course I'm good enough. And that was like a big thing, was like coming back to the realization. And this is why I think they call it a spiritual awakening. Because like, yeah, you said, the animalistic survival in us kind of like awakens to the spiritual divine in us. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, like heaven on earth is real. Oh, of course I'm a loved being. Oh, of course I would go get a doctorate because I believe in myself. And I think that's a really big thing too, is like the mirror exercise returns you back to love. That's what it is. But also returns you back to like living a magical life to where like fear isn't real and only love is. And like how we say, like love never fails. And so therefore like God never fails. And
Yeah.
that's why like the things can't be taken from the people that have this relationship with God, because
Yeah.
God never fails.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like those dreams that we all have that are placed in our hearts, like for your PhD and for your union and for, all of these things, like it's not like we just like make these things up. Like God puts these dreams in our heart. Like there's a reason we have those there. And God puts those in your heart because they are meant to come true, And like yeah, and I think that's the um really a big part of the spiritual awakening process is realizing because when you discover more of who you are, like you discover more of the dreams that God's put in your heart for you that are actually meant for you, which I think is really cool because the more you know yourself, the more you know what you desire, more that you can manifest it, right? And that's what's yeah, like it's all one beautiful experience of like becoming more of you and then like embodying more of you in your life.
Yeah, and especially as being like the woman aspect of everything, it's like, oh, like God is a woman. Like I love it. Like it's very empowering and like just being expressive and embodying like and loving like the divine feminine aspect is so beautiful because like the divine feminine, just femininity in general, has been completely just like distorted for a very long time. Like even like a long time ago, but even now it's like still the hustle culture and everything that you have to be like this boss babe doing everything. And I've noticed like, and you've helped me heal through this, is like you don't have to like be hustling to get your dreams because like you said, God, I like already promised them to you. So you can really like rest into it and like move with peace towards your dreams.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you can just relax. That's such a big piece of awakening because it's like a lot of people may start the healing journey or the spiritual awakening path of like, oh, like this is such a high, right? But really like once that kind of fades off, that's when you can really relax into yeah, like those higher vibrations being not just something like woo, you zoom up to and then you crash down. It becomes a lot more stabilized. Um and I think, yeah, that is a piece of what women are learning. And I think, yeah, like a healthy, harmonious union really like supports the feminine energy to relax, even if she does want to have a huge purpose and be a leader and be like a way shower. Like there's a way to do that in a feminine way. You never have to you never have to embody any masculine energy. Like you really can't, right? And so the more that you embody your true essence, the more success you're going to have. And that can look like chilling, it can look like relaxing.
Yeah, and I love it. And I love relaxing. Like I said, I had breakfast in bed and it was just like so romantic and it was still like super aligned and I didn't feel like I had to like prove myself, to anything or anybody.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, it sounds like you're living your dream life.
I really am. Like it's beautiful. I mean, as you can see, I have like this canopy bed now. And so it's like a divine princess. But it all started with first me like taking the leap and moving to Austin and like saying like, oh, I can't let fear get to me. And I was so afraid because now it's May and this is the full first year of me living in Austin. And I was so scared. I was so scared before moving here. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if everything goes wrong? Like, what if everything goes wrong and I just mess it up? But then I found your Soul Union, which is your website for your ascension coaching. And I was like, okay, like I know what I know to be true. Let me just like, I think we booked a consultation and like we started healing from there. And it was June 18th was actually our consultation. And so it was like a month after me moving to Austin. And then I found your work and we were healing and doing it. And then it's just like, it took off, and because love never fails. And in love is the most potent vibration that there is. And
Yeah.
like you said, like you came into union really fast as on your journey because love is super potent. And yeah, I just do the mirror exercise. That's really it. That's the key to what it might look like living my dream, which it is the mirror exercise and like creating that relationship with God and knowing that God is always with me. And I've gone through a lot of trials in this past year. And, like I've talked to you about a lot of things and, but here I am like totally persevered through it all.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, and like your story of moving to Austin, like it brings up like I don't know if it's a quote or whatever it is, but it's like you felt the fear and you did it anyways. And I think that's such an important lesson for anyone that's like on the awakening journey or looking to start healing or being with their twin flame or whatever it is. It's like it's okay to feel fear, right? Like it's gonna come up, right? But you never have to listen to that fear, like because once you get over the hump of, oh, shoot, like what if everything goes wrong? And you just, nope, I'm just going to do it anyways, follow my heart. That's when everything changes for you. And yeah, I had a similar experience too with, my awakening journey is like, I ended a relationship prior to finding this work. It was 5 years ago. And yeah, it was scary. It was like, shit, like, I don't know, like, this feels scary to me. But once I did it, it was like, oh my gosh, I felt like, I shed like a whole layer of skin. I like became myself more than I ever had in my life. And that is what sparked, my healing journey. And then 2 years later, finding this work, and 3 years from then, being here today. And so it's okay to feel fear, like, right? You just never have to give into it. Because what's on the other side of fear is the truth, right? Of what you really deserve and of your dreams.
Yeah, and I've noticed that like you said, don't listen to the fear, listen to your heart because your heart knows the way. Like God made your heart. God didn't make fear.
Like,
Yeah, and I love that. And that's what I've been doing when I even like have a contract with a modeling company, and like I was so afraid as well. I was like, what if I'm not good enough? And that was just fear. But in my heart, I was like, oh, but I know this desire is mine. And so I listened to my heart, and there I got it. And I healed it, using the mirror exercise. Like, why do I not feel good enough? What was the first time I didn't feel good enough? What does she need? And love, unconditional love, acceptance. And I just gave that to myself. And it's so empowering. It's like I even have my mom doing it now, where I'll call her and she'll be like telling me about something. I'm like, hey, you want to do the mirror exercise? She's like, yeah. And then we do it. I literally just texted her yesterday because she was texting me about something. And she was like, I'm going to go do the mirror exercise. And I was like, oh, awesome. Like, you're going to be so empowered after. So, yeah, even my own family is noticing so much change within my life, not even like on the outside, but like who I am as a person, that I'm more peaceful, I'm more empowered. I'm not the girl I was even 2 years ago who was like afraid of life and afraid of, she didn't even know herself. And that's okay. But yeah, even they've taken a note on it and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, well, just this awesome stuff called the mirror exercise.
that's so cool. Yeah, I think that's so powerful, and yeah, like you really can heal like all the generational things with the mirror exercise too. And I think that's what you're healing for your family. And it's so beautiful that like they're stepping up and choosing to heal too, because I think I've heard this somewhere, like one mirror exercise can like advance you like 1,000 years spiritually or something crazy like that. And it's so true because it's so powerful, right? It gets straight to the core of where you're holding on to fear or anger or upset or wounding. And it pulls that thorn out and it just fills it with love. And you can move so fast with that. And that's why I feel like, we have both of our journeys really show how quickly you can change and how quickly you can move in this path and like in the direction towards your dreams, when you apply it, when you actually take it seriously and try it on for yourself, and give it a chance. And yeah, I think that's so cool. Your family is like exploring it too.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. And I love to see my mom like empowering herself. It's so beautiful. And it's just, yeah, it's amazing. And yeah, and so now you're an ascension coach. You say like it's been like 3 years you've been on this journey, and you've been coaching me for a year. And so like what made you, did you have like that in your heart? Did you always know you were going to be an ascension coach, or did you always feel like you wanted to lead or teach? Like what led you to actually becoming part of TFU, which is Twin Flames Universe?
Yeah, that's such a good question. Yeah, like I always knew I wanted to like help the world in some way. Like when I was younger, I experienced a lot of anxiety and like OCD. And I remember having this thought when I was like 10 years old where I was like, when I'm like in my 20s, I'm going to have healed this and I'm going to help others heal too, right? Like whatever they're experiencing. It was just this like thought I had. And I kind of forgot about it and let it go. And like I went to school for advertising. I thought I was going to be a lawyer for a little while, started studying for the LSATs. I was like really exploring. But once I started my awakening, I really realized, oh, this is what I'm meant to do is help people heal. And I thought that might be through yoga or meditation. And so I got my yoga teacher training and all of that. But it never like kind of went past getting the certification. And so then I found this work and it was like my whole world, unlocked, right? And so really once I found it, I knew I was meant to be a coach. I was like, this is what I've been like leading up to through all of like my past, like everything just made sense. And of course I didn't know that back then or like even in college because ascension coaching wasn't even like a thing, like it
Yeah.
wasn't even in consciousness yet. And so yeah, like it just that, but that was the feeling that I had, which is how I really knew is like the feeling I get being a coach is the feeling I had back then, when I was a kid and like would think about what I wanted to be. It's like I wanted to help people, I wanted to serve, and I wanted to, yeah, like I knew there was things that were off about the world, like I mentioned with religion and stuff, and so I wanted to figure out like what the truth was like behind what Jesus was teaching, for example, or really like how did God create us, right? Like I loved fairy tales. Like what is true love? Is that real? Is that for me? Like I all of these things really led me to TFU and to this teaching that it really when I found this work it didn't feel like I was learning like, like math or I was learning like a scientific method or even though there's science in it or I was learning like history. It was like I was learning something my soul already knew and was like getting a confirmation of. Like it was really really beautiful in that way. Like yeah, like when you're learning like, geometry or whatever, it was like the worst thing in the world. I could barely learn that. But when I was learning this work, it was like I was learning what I had already known in my heart my whole life, and it was just being clicked into place. And so that's how I knew it was true for me. And then once I began applying it and seeing the results, it was very obvious this is what I was meant to do. And then, yeah, and then Dylan and I, we became coaches. We were officially certified March of 2023, right? No, 2024. And so, yeah, we've been a little over a year and a couple months now, and we're just really loving it. It's amazing. It's like a dream come true.
Yeah, I see your Instagram stories and you're like, well, this is my to-do list of today. And it's like the best ever. You're like sauna in the morning, coaching clients, and then like taking the boat out. And you're also like living the dream.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so, so cool. And it's like, it's amazing because, yeah, I never knew like before this, really finding this, I was like, what's going to actually not feel like work for me? Like, how am I going to live? Like, what kind of job do I want to do? I don't want to do something that feels like work, which is what all my jobs previously had felt like, right? It was like, okay, I got to go to work. So finding this, it's like, it doesn't feel like work at all. It feels like just living my life and like helping people along the way. And it's the coolest thing ever. And I think that really is a testament to what it's like to live your life purpose, whether that be whether coaching be a part of that life purpose or not. Like it shouldn't feel like it's drains you. It's meant to feel like it fills you so much and like you become energized through like what you're meant to do. It's a really good way to know like where you're being guided life purpose wise.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, like what what else are we supposed to do? Like we have this one life and this one vessel. Might as well like go all out and live it the best way you can. And that was something that really clicked with me whenever my best friend passed away. It was like, man, like I could be gone at any second. Like I need to be living it aligned with like exactly like my soul is telling me to. And so you work with Twin Flames Universe, and there's like a huge thing about that. They had a documentary about being a cult, and I just want to ask you about that because you do work with them as an ascension coach with Jeff and Shalia Divine, and like I've had my own questions to you in our own private coaching sessions because I was super like I found you first and I was like I took off with the mirror exercise. I was like, wow, this stuff I feel it working. And like how you said my soul is like doing something it already knows is true. And so I was like super into the mirror exercise, doing it all the time, and then learning about like Jeff and Shalia. I watched the documentary and it just felt off. I was like, but what I'm doing is it feels really good to me and I'm actually really healing. And so, yeah, I just want to ask you about that because you do work with them one on one. I had my own resistance to them And I brought that up to you in our own private coaching sessions. And we actually worked on that and worked through that. And then like that resistance, love just melted away. And it was like, oh, like I know the mirror exercise works. I know it changes my life. And all the other resistance just melted away. So yeah, if you want to like say anything about, you working with them too, because I know that's a really big topic of TFU.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to speak on it because yeah, like similar to you, I found this work and then all that drama came out about it. And for me, yeah, it was really just like surprising because I was like, this isn't my experience at all. Like, what is going on here? And so what I found to be happening is like there was just a lot of projection personally is what I saw. A lot of projection because like you've seen throughout Twin Flame Ascension School, and everyone that was, featured share what actually happened with them. So, and so did I. So it was really interesting to see what had come out, which wasn't aligned with the true narrative that we actually saw unfolding live, right? And so I think it really just showed like people searching for like a story, right? People just searching for clicks, right? And that's really what happens like in today's world, unfortunately, is like yeah, like the juiciest, most drama-filled headline is going to get a click, right? And like yeah, and so and I also feel like it's part of what we talked about earlier, like the resistance to love. Right, because from my own experience, with Jeff and Shalia is like every single interaction with them has been 100% loving 100% of the time. And I honestly can't say I've ever had that experience like with anyone in my life, right? Not even my parents, right? My parents, we've had upsets and moved through things, but they're still learning emotionally too. They don't, they don't go to therapy or they don't know, how to heal themselves. So yeah, like they're where they're at and that's okay. Um, yeah, but with our teachers, Jeff and Shalia, I mean, it's been nothing but love every single step of the way, and I found nothing but love in the teachings in the school. Nothing but love has entered my life since starting this work, which I think can really trigger people. I think it can really, really trigger people when people are told like you can have a life of love and like when they run into blocks, they want to say, "Oh no, I can't. Like you're wrong. That's not the way." But there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of students living this work today to show like actually it does work, right? And I do feel like all of that is completely behind us now, like
Mm-hmm.
completely behind us to where we're like free from that speculation and that questioning. And now we can really just step forward into like the light of God, right? Into the light of truth, which is that love is real. And that the more people that find this work, like, and find success in it, like you, right? Like the people that find us every day, it's just going to prove that like again and again and again, because yeah, this work isn't going anywhere because it's not even, like it's not even Jeff and Shalia's work. Like, of course, they're the ones that brought it to us, but it's from God. That's what I believe in my heart. Is like it's no different than what Yogananda brought to the world, or what Jesus brought to the world, or Buddha. Right? It's all of these teachers that have come before us to bring a teaching to us. Like that's all they've done. They've brought that teaching, and so it's not going to be. Yeah, it's not going to be going anywhere. It's just going to like be growing and spreading and um, yeah, and I think more and more people are going to see that truth.
For sure. Yeah. And I have the all class pass. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm in a cult. Like I even like left the forum at one point. I was like, they post too much. And I left and there was like nothing said about it or anything. Or like even one time I posted in there about like transformation or something. And Jeff commented, Jeff Divine, he was like, you keep being you. Like you keep going, and like that was I've only ever encountered super loving conversations with him and Shalia. And so, like you said, like we don't sometimes even get that from our own parents. And yeah, I was like, I don't feel like I'm in a cult. Like I remember like I even took a little break from one-on-one coaching. And like it was totally okay. And like we're still here doing the podcast and I'm in, group coaching and everything. And yeah, I never felt like constricted or being told what to do. Cause like you said, like it's a really big piece of work, but it's also like personal work. It's like my work, my inner work. Like if I have a trigger, it's mine and I deal with it and I just have a tool. Like it's just a tool that I apply and that's really just what it is.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think Jeff said at one point, like a cult is something that extracts your good in exchange for a lie. And that's like the exact opposite of this work. Like it provides you the truth, right, that we've been talking about this whole podcast. And it extracts nothing. It only gives to you. Only gives to you at every single step of the way. And so yeah, just like you, I just trusted myself there. I didn't trust the world sphere, and I was like, you know what? The fear doesn't sound fun. It doesn't feel good. And like what's actually I'm experiencing feels amazing, right? It feels loving, and I think you did go through that experience too, is to like, yeah, to just, prove to yourself, to show to yourself like that you did really find something true here, right? Like it provides nothing but like yeah, more freedom, for us all to step into our divinity, and like there's no like rules. Like it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
be a jerk and like you're cool, you're golden.
Yeah, just post, whatever and just
Yeah.
keep it cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I had a friend at the time, talk about it, the documentary and everything, and actually like accused me of being fake and I think like avoidant or something. And like really was projecting a lot of like hate, a lot of lies. And like I actually like healed that with you as well. But yeah, I was like, wait, like that's not true. And I've only ever continued, like I never fed into the ego. I left it alone, blocked. It's our favorite thing. And I continued doing the mirror exercise and I continued like being blessed. And like
Mhm.
blessings on blessings just kept flowing in. Like I just did like 2 auditions last week and I did an audition for Nike through my modeling agency 2 weeks ago. And like that was just like blessings haven't stopped because I haven't stopped loving myself.
Yeah.
And that's what the mirror exercise is about, is just loving yourself because reality starts in here. Reality starts in your heart with your feelings, and reality starts in your mind. And this is a tool to heal your reality.
Amen. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, and it's just getting started too. It's just gonna keep getting better and better. Like I don't even think this work has been around for like 10 years yet. It might be almost to the 10-year mark, right? Like we're getting close, but like it's still new, right? We're still just at the surface of like what's possible here. Especially for me, and for you, to a year and 3 years into the healing. It's like, can you imagine where we're gonna be in 5 years? Like, girl,
No.
I don't even like God has so much in store.
I know. Yeah, anything is possible, with God. God is everything.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for today and being on the podcast. I enjoyed every single second of it. And yeah, I'm so excited to share all of this with everybody because, like I said, like even my mom started doing it because she's like, what is changing? And yeah, I thank you so much for being on the Soul Prescription with me.
Yeah, it was my honor. This was amazing. I had so much fun. I loved every second too. It was awesome. I just love talking about God, talking about this work, and like yeah, I feel just like I don't know, like the proudest older sister ever right now because you killed it, you crushed it, and you're crushing it like every single day. So just keep going. You're doing amazing. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was so sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.